Why your first $20,000 changes everything. There's a moment most people never notice in their financial life. It's not when you become rich, it's not when you hit six figures, and it's definitely not when you buy your first luxury item. It's something much quieter, almost invisible. It's the moment you check your bank account, and for the first time you don't feel stress, no panic, no mental calculations, no fear about what happens if something breaks this month. And strangely enough, that moment doesn't come when you have $100,000. For most people, it happens much earlier, around $20,000, and once you reach it, something inside your brain starts to change in ways most people never realize. Most people think their financial problem is income. I don't earn enough. I need a better job. I need a side hustle. But that's only half the truth, because if income alone solved the problem, every high earner would be financially free, but they're not. Surprising number of people earning six figures are still stressed about money, still living paycheck to paycheck, still making emotional financial decisions. So what's actually going on? The real issue isn't income. It's financial pressure without safety. When you have no savings, your brain enters survival mode, and survival mode changes everything. You don't make optimal decisions. You make safe decisions, not what grows your life, but what prevents collapse. That means staying in jobs you hate, avoiding risk even when it's smart, saying yes to things you should refuse, saying no to opportunities because they feel uncertain. And the worst part, you don't even realize you're doing it, because survival mode feels normal when you're inside. Now here's where things start to change. When people hit their first meaningful savings milestone, around 20,000 something, subtle but powerful happens. It's not the number itself, it's what the number represents. For the first time, your life stops being fully dependent on next month's paycheck. You gain breathing room, and that breathing room changes your psychology. Because now, surprise expense is no longer a crisis, it's just an inconvenience. A bad week doesn't feel like the end of the world. A job you dislike becomes optional, not permanent. And that shift is powerful, because for the first time, you're not reacting to life. You're starting to respond to it. Something fascinating happens when financial pressure decreases. Your brain reallocates energy. Instead of asking, how do I survive this month? You start asking, how do I improve my situation? Instead of avoiding risk, you start evaluating it. Instead of thinking short-term, you start thinking strategically. This is where most people underestimate the power of $20,000, because it doesn't just sit in your account. It changes your decision-making system, and that system affects everything. Career choices, spending, habits, relationships, confidence, long-term planning. It's not about the money sitting there. It's about what your brain becomes capable of when it's there. Here's something most people never think about. The first, $20,000 is the hardest money you'll ever save. Why? Because every dollar comes from your effort alone. No momentum, no returns, no compounding effect. Just you versus your expenses. But after that point, something starts to shift. Your money begins to participate. Even small returns start to matter. Even small gains become noticeable. And more importantly, you stop building from zero every month. That's the real advantage. Not just having money, but having existing money working alongside you. This is where wealth stops being linear and starts becoming exponential. One of the biggest changes after hitting $20,000 isn't financial, it's psychological power. Because now you have something most people don't, options. You are no longer trapped in every situation. You can leave a toxic job. You can say no to unfair treatment. You can delay decisions that don't benefit you. And even if you never actually quit your job, you stop behaving like you're stuck. That alone changes how people treat you, because confidence changes perception. Managers notice it. Clients notice it. Even strangers notice it. And ironically, the less desperate you appear, the more opportunities you attract. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people never reach this stage, because the moment they get money, they reset their progress. New phone, new car, new lifestyle, new expenses, and suddenly, they're back at zero again, not because they didn't earn enough, but because they never built stability. They confused income with wealth, but wealth isn't what you earn. It's what you keep long enough to grow. So how do you get there? Not through luck, not through motivation, through systems. 3 simple rules. Automate savings, don't rely on discipline. Remove choice. Cut emotional spending. Not everything you want is something you need. Increase income intentionally, side income. Skill growth, better job positioning. Because the goal is not perfection, the goal is consistency. Even small progress compounds. And eventually, it becomes 20,000. Most people are waiting for a life-changing number. They think it's $100K or $1 million, but for most people, the real transformation happens much earlier, because $20,000 doesn't make you rich. It makes you unstuck. It gives you space to think, space to grow, space to choose. And sometimes, that's the first time life starts feeling like it's yours again.